Yes, you are. Whatever. Nerd, 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 nerd.
We're live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Not a Nerd with Lou, Rob, usually Garrett, but he couldn't be with us today, and me, Mary, or Mary LK. All right, so how you be? Lou, tell us how you be. What's up?
Excited. First episode. We're here.
Yes.
There's no more talking. We're here. Yeah, clap it up. Yeah, man. We're here. Yeah,
Rob,
I got to get my soundboard together, but once I get it together, we'll have all of that.
Listen, here we're rocking. It's episode 1. It's gonna get better and better. We're here though.
Absolutely.
We're here. So Rob, tell us how you be.
I'm good right now, just getting ready to get this started. Ready. Super excited. I'm in Krakoa right now. That's why, chilling with other mutants and shit,
Definitely feeling that. I'd be excited. My sister had her baby, Nezuko, after 2.5 long days. So I'm excited to be an auntie again. And, I feel like the baby's giving me even more nerd cred, her favorite anime happens to be Demon Slayer. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So I'm excited.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. I'm even more excited, if that's even possible, to be here with you guys.
Yes.
All right.
Facts.
So I've been dying and literally dying because I've had to keep my mouth shut to discuss Deadpool versus Wolverine. I mean, come on, Deadpool and Wolverine. We all saw it. I know we were in the group chat like, oh, we want to talk about it so bad, and we couldn't. And now we finally get to weigh in on this.
Yes.
So let's kick this off. Let's talk about the hottest movie right now.
See, like a couple of my favorite parts was the comic book accurate Wolverines in the beginning when he was jumping through the multiverse. I thought it was hilarious. The comic book accurate short one, super hilarious. Like when people have been complaining about how Hugh Jackman, how he's going to portray Wolverine because he's too tall. But now look, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, facts.
True.
That was dope.
What are your thoughts, Lou? I know you saw the movie. I know you was like waiting to unleash.
I'm about to go back and see it again. I might go this weekend. I might go next. I don't know yet, but I'm definitely going back to see it again. This movie is probably the best Marvel movie since, I would say, Endgame. It's high praise. Endgame is probably one of the best superhero movies, period. But it's also one of the best cinematic movies, period. When it comes down to theatrics, story, and cinematography, yeah. So I loved it. There's things about it that did leave a lot of question marks as far as the direction, what they're trying to do with the MCU, but I think they set up a clear vision. Like they have a vision board and they set everything up. So let's see what they do.
I think this movie was definitely for the fans. I will say that. I feel I loved it. However, it did leave some questions. I'm like, okay, how are they going to get this in? How are they going to, that's what I found myself doing. I do want to see it again, like Lou, but it was cool. It was cool. But I do feel like it was more so for the fans. I think they did a good job with letting Ryan Reynolds take a lot of creative liberties. I think he killed it. And I love how they, even towards the end, how they were able to kind of like give like those X-Men flashbacks and everything like that. So exactly, homages. That's the right word, homages. As they should. So I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited. Like, what was you guys' favorite part of this movie?
I have a lot.
Right.
Oh man.
I mean, like,
a lot of people don't like it, but Channing Tatum, I thought his Gambit was hilarious.
Me too. First of all, fun fact: I had a Chihuahua and I named him Gambit because I always name animals after MCU characters. It's just a thing. Since I was a kid, it's just a thing. But yeah, and I saw him. I just like, oh, I'm gonna name him Gambit because Gambit's always been one of my favorite X-Men, just because he had swag and he was just always cool and kind of just in his own lane, I always loved it. And he was kind of underrated to some people, I always liked him.
Yes, definitely.
I have a lot of favorite parts of the movie, but I think by far the favorite is when Human Torch dies. I think that was like the funniest part of the movie. And then the end credit scene where you find out that he actually did say all of this stuff, and Deadpool's always just breaking the fourth wall, and I like how Ryan Reynolds, he's a huge advocate of the character and the lore, and that's what makes these type of movies so fire. My biggest gripe with a lot of movies, especially when it's based off of the nonfiction part of it or the fiction part of it, where the comic book, the regular book, the graphic novel, even video games, you have source material here, and it's so weird that so many movies or shows don't go off of the source material. They just like, oh, we have the source material here. It's a dope story, but you know what? Let me do my own thing. Yeah. So I like the fact that he takes from the source material, and then because that's early MCU, they took from the source material and they kind of changed a lot of different things to make it more, modern, I guess, or more believable, because a lot of stuff that happens in Marvel comic books are just, I don't know, just a lot of that.
Right. That's the thing, because like the MCU represents a different universe within the entire Marvel continuity. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you can't material for not be exact. You know what I mean?
Right, but you can't say it's 616 and then not incorporate a lot of the 616 main line in the comics. What happens? You know what I'm saying? You can't
that's why it's very loose on what they take from it. Very loose, so they can make it into what they think, how they want it.
And I don't mind interpretations. I think, like, for instance, Thor, Love and Thunder, I like that they took the hear me out. I like how they took the Ragnarok.
I can't.
I like how they took the Ragnarok story and tried to incorporate it. They just fumbled on how to go about it. There's a lot of things that happen during the whole God endings era with I forget his name, Gore. So I think they fumbled it only because, one, they couldn't do exactly where the Necro sword came from, because Venom is owned by Sony, and then on top of that, it's dark. You can't have a fun comedic type of movie with this storyline. The Gore storyline was very dark. It took Thor to a place where he was a different type of god at that point in time. And they showed old man Thor and what it did to him, like what the Gore arc did to him. So I think that they fumbled it. But going back to Deadpool, what I liked about it was the fact that they incorporated what ultimately Deadpool is, and you can literally make a Deadpool story out of anything.
Yeah,
Deadpool is one of those characters where it's like anything goes, because of the fact that once he breaks the fourth wall, it's all bets are off. There's no set storyline for him. When there is a storyline for him, he could literally change it because he could break the fourth wall. He's literally
he's like
a living cartoon.
Yeah, like he's always been sprinkled throughout the universe. Like, you can find Deadpool anywhere, and that's what's so cool about it. That's where they're able to make these interchanging stories. I even like going back to Deadpool 2, how they introduced somewhat the X-Force, but then you get to this and it's, Deadpool and Wolverine, they were actually a part of the X-Force. So, I loved how they like faked introduced, and then killed everyone off. And then in this movie, they're like, okay, Wolverine, they travel in time. I love how they kind of set that up and we were able to grasp that. So it makes me feel like, okay, they might be coming, actually going into that a little bit deeper. Maybe it's going to be, another movie. I feel like Deadpool is one of those movies, like you said, you can kind of sky's the limit. I think that's the one thing that Marvel has gotten right, MCU's gotten right in a while.
Yeah,
in the Marvel universe.
Huh?
Yeah,
What
I was saying, I feel like in the Marvel universe, Deadpool is the only true Nexus being. I mean, we always say like there's Nexus beings and Scarlet Witch, and Deadpool's literally a Nexus being. I mean, he can literally break dimensions. The Deadpool the council of Deadpools, like there's so many different things that you could do with Deadpool. So I'm excited to see what the MCU does.
Yeah, I feel like Ryan Reynolds really had his hand really into it, because I feel like this Deadpool specifically out of the other first two, is a lot more comic book, as you were saying before. 616 Deadpool, you have to feel that you get from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like he's really doing his thing with that one. And go back to Love and Thunder.
Look, I liked it for what it was. I think that the beginning with the whole exchange, I felt like the only comedic part that should have been in the movie was the beginning, the whole comedic exchange with the Guardians, because you still have the Guardians in the movie. So I felt like that comedic exchange was perfect. But then going through the movie, it just still felt like they was trying to keep it light and not as heavy. But when you're introducing a character like Gore, he's a butcher, he's a god butcher. It has to be dark. Yeah. I mean, he literally went to different planets and was killing gods. Like this is not a movie where it's like it's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be very, very dark, menacing, sad.
Keeping Love and Thunder was definitely intentional. Like they kept it light intentionally because of
Ragnarok, because of the success of
Ragnarok. It started to
also
get
a bad movie.
Dark. It started to get dark.
You didn't like Ragnarok? I enjoyed Ragnarok. I didn't
like 90% of that movie was ad lib. Like it was going straight. They were just doing random.
Yeah.
I feel like Thor and Dark World.
Well, Dark World. All right, so a lot of people don't like Dark World, and that's
true Thor. Like Chris Hemsworth did like a true Thor. Then after that, it was just creative Thor. It's like
I like.
But I think that was intentional. That comes with the creative licenses to make sure that the movies have crossover appeal. I personally, I would love a nice, dirty, gritty, dark, like keep it true, stuck to the comics.
My thing is, it's like if you're going to change one aspect of a character, then that may or may not work. Why not do it for all? The thing that works well with Captain America was the fact that they kept it grounded, they kept it true to his character, and I mean, right, and I mean, arguably, Winter Soldier's top 5 MCU movie ever. Like it's one of the top 5 MCU movies ever. And it's because you kept true to your character. I think Ragnarok, if I don't mind the funny jinx, I don't mind all of that. I think where you go away from it is when you incorporate Battle World and you have Thor and the Thor that was Hulk, and when you have that type of Hulk, that Hulk that was in Battle World was, I mean, he was one step away from world beater Hulk.
World Warrior.
Right. So you can't incorporate this story and then have it upbeat without having the elements that actually make that story what it was. Right. So I do agree that Ragnarok was, I think we got a little silly, but once you go silly, you have to go back to your roots, and that's why Love and Thunder was not successful.
It was a little too light. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I didn't take it seriously as it being one of the staples in the Marvel movies. I just didn't. So I understand that. Okay. So since we're on Love and Thunder and we talked about Deadpool and Wolverine and we're what is the state of the MCU? Like, what is it? I just feel like it's in a complete influx right now. I'm trying to figure this out. Y'all help me. What's going on?
I think they're trying to find their footing again. You know, after Endgame, it was like, all right, I feel like they hit their peak, but now they just leveled back down. They just started from the ground root and trying to build themselves way back up again. And I think it's hard for them to land a lot of these, especially like with the Blade movie. They went through like 3 different writers and 3 different directors.
They're still going through hell.
Bro. It's crazy right now.
Yeah, it's so tough because MCU is so beloved. I mean, you have Iron Man, you have Captain America, you have Thor, I think they wasted this phase only because you've already set up a precedent. You set up a precedent as far as marquee movies, blockbusters. You set up a precedent as far as being one of the only interconnected universes where movies are actually blending into each other and everything is connecting in a way where it makes sense. And then on top of that, you set a precedent in storytelling between the Hulk that started it off all the way up until Endgame. The storyline was chef's kiss. I mean, everything that led up to Endgame, you can literally go back and pinpoint different. There's still people dissecting these movies and going back and saying, well, Thanos was here originally and the stone was here, so how did the stone get moved over here? And now you're starting to look at different things differently because people are dissecting them and you're reflecting it in real time.
Each movie, looking to see how each one lines up with the main Avenger movies, and it's like I'm not seeing that happening.
Well, the thing is, we haven't had an Avengers movie since Endgame, and they're trying to set up a new Avengers movie. But in order to do that, it's either you take the characters and see the state of. That's what I never understood. There's never been a point where what's the aftermath of everything that they've been through with Thanos, because it's heavy. And when you look at the actual comic books, there's always what we would define filler, but the comics will always talk about what happens after. Where is the state of the X-Men after Genosha?
Yeah.
What's the state of Thor after his battle with Gore the Butcher? What's the state of Captain America after Civil War? There's always been a small chunk or a small arc where we kind of discuss what's the state of things right now in the 616 in the comics.
Yeah.
We haven't discussed that in the movies. In the movies, it's kind of been like Endgame happened immediately into Guardians 3. The state of but we're not talking about
because they're expecting the fans to stay current and to know what's happening by the time the next movie comes out. I mean, I would love to see these arcs in movies, but reality is you
don't have to put them in a movie. The beauty of where Disney is with Marvel is the fact that they've introduced Marvel Television. And with Marvel Television, you can tell small stories. You could tell 4 episode arcs, which is literally a movie in terms. You could tell 4 episode arcs of where certain characters are to try to reconnect the things. And right now, what they're doing with Marvel Television hasn't been that. The only Marvel Television show that has been up to par is probably Moon Knight. Other than that, there hasn't.
I was just watching.
Well, WandaVision too. I'll give you WandaVision and Loki. But out of those 3 shows, let's name the other shows that has actually, 1, set up anything for the MCU, and 2, has integrated something where we're excited for the next chapter. Who's really excited for the next phase?
They had a few attempts with a few other shows, but I have to admit, none of them stuck like he did.
Their issue is like over saturation of their shows. They kept on dropping one consistently, and on top of not too much good promotions. Like nobody knew The Werewolf by Midnight came out. Exactly. I thought it was a great series, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great series.
Nobody knew about it.
was amazing, but marketing definitely sucked. And then I also think the fact that the MCU universe, they took a few hits. I don't think they prepared to take the hits, the losses that they took. You know, Stan Lee died, Chadwick Boseman died. You know, they took a few losses, and I don't think they prepared to recover from those type of losses where they were going within their storylines. They lost some others, but you know, they took some major.
I agree with that. There's been, I think when certain things happen, or like for instance the Jonathan Major situation, losing Chadwick Boseman, there's variables, but the beauty and the curse of being head of a studio, Kevin Feige, the beauty and the curse of it is having these variables already written out, because there's no guarantee for any of these characters. You already know that Iron Man is ultimately leaving. Like you haven't re-signed contracts. You already know that Sony owns Spider-Man, and you're limited in how you can present Spider-Man. So even saying the word Spider-Man in a movie would count to Sony as Spider-Man being in a movie. So you have to be very fickle and very careful with how you put Spider-Man in a movie. Then on top of that, you fumbling with storytelling. Simple stories that you're trying to pull from the Marvel catalog, you can simply just do it. If you wanted to give a true and pay homage to Chadwick Boseman at the same time, but give a true rendition, one, you don't have to recast Chadwick Boseman. The story was already there and set up for Killmonger to take over the Black Panther mantle. That it was clearly set up for that. It was never what's the trope? If you don't see them die on screen, they're not dead.
Yeah, they're not dead.
You know, nobody saw Michael B. Jordan die on screen. He's still alive, in my opinion. But you made it canon. I mean, in
Black Panther 2,
they made it canon. Yeah, you made it canon in Black Panther 2, but you didn't have to. I didn't like the direction that they went in, because to me, this version of Shuri is not Black Panther to me. When they introduced Black Panthers in the comics, she was only taking over for T'Challa was still alive. She was literally taking over for him until he gets back. I mean, he married Storm. He went out. He literally
were going to go. I was just about to mention that. I think originally they were going to go in the direction where it showed him in Storm. But I think because he died, they skipped it and they went right to, Shuri.
You can't introduce Storm into a Black Panther movie only because Storm has nothing to do with the lore of Black Panther up until they start dating. She's not from, she's from Africa, but she's not from Wakanda. She's not, she's
right. So,
you would have to
their childhood friends at a point. That's
but you would have to do it in a way where it sets up a precedent. And I don't think that Black Panther 2 would have been able to do that, only because we've already been introduced to Black Panther since Civil War. We've already had him there. We're still trying to integrate mutants. And you can't integrate one mutant without explaining where the mutants are right. So I don't agree with that.
I just feel like I feel like they jumped to Shuri, and I just feel like it gave, we're doing this storyline because Chadwick Boseman died. It didn't give this was our intent.
You can't have a proper Namor story. You're introducing Namor, who's the first mutant, one of the founding members of the Illuminati, an integral part of any storyline you can name, whether it be Secret Wars, whether it be any Marvel, any mutant storyline, any Fantastic Four storyline. Namor is such a rich lore character. You cannot add him into this and have him go against Black Panthers. You can't. He is an adversary of T'Challa. It's just you can't do it. So
each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They fumbled this phase, and now you're setting up for this next phase, and this next phase, in my opinion, is critical. What they do from Deadpool and Wolverine on is going to either make or break the MCU as we know it.
Well, I mean, are they already setting themselves up for a fumble, having Robert Downey Jr. coming back as
No.
Doctor? You think?
I'm a little 50-50 on that, but you know,
it depends on how they do it. It depends on how they do it. If they're doing a true variant timeline, I mean, there's so many stories that they could pick from when Dr. Doom switches minds and bodies with Tony Stark and Tony Stark is in Doom's body. There's so many different things that they can do with this, but I think getting Downey back is desperation. You see that your franchise is on the downhill of a roller coaster ride. You want to try to bring it back up. You want that the next, the next angle. You want that.
Yeah.
It just depends on what they do. Thank you.
That's why I'm 50-50. I'm like, at this point, I feel like this desperation, they're grasping at straws here. They're trying to recover from, whatever they're in. I'm interested to see, though. I mean, at the end of the day, he's an amazing actor. He portrayed one of the greatest, in my opinion, greatest characters of all time, and he did it with excellence. So I'm curious. I'm 50-50. Like Rob said, I'm 50-50.
If they introduce him only to introduce a different Doctor Doom, I'm okay with that. Because in my head, the Doom that I wanted and still want, and I think is going to be probably the greatest, because Doom is really not a villain. He's a villain, but he's not a villain. But if anybody can play him the correct way, is Cillian Murphy. That's what I wanted.
I gotta look more up on him. Okay.
Have you ever watched Peaky Blinders?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. He's the main actor, Cillian Murphy.
Oh.
He also plays Scarecrow in Batman Begins and
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if I'm picking any character, I'm picking Cillian Murphy. I think he has the range. He was in Oppenheimer. He has the range. He has the range to be a complicated, complex villain, because that's what Dr. Doom ultimately is. He was one of the greatest villains in Marvel history because he's so complex.
I mean, isn't every
What do you think about Mad Mikkelsen?
What you said?
Mad Mikkelsen.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Matt Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
He's very. I think he would be a good Doom too. I would save him though, because I would save. If we was moving off of Jonathan Majors, I would move him as King. Very complex. Because you can still keep King. We've already established.
Nah, bro. They already showed the whole multiverse of different Jonathan Majors. True.
Yeah.
I still believe that they made a mistake in firing him to begin with. In my mind, he is King.
Well, that's why they're moving off of him, because they've already put him down. But I'm not opposed to bringing him back. I mean, he wasn't. He was charged with reckless endangerment or something like. It wasn't a full on charge, as far as it was like conspiracy to commit harassment or something like that. I forget what the actual charge was, but I mean, he wasn't
domestic violence.
So he wasn't like. Yeah,
but
it's not a full on charge
because he was pulling her into the car. He wasn't really.
That was it.
And the video,
I would bring him back. I think he was fantastic as King.
Right, and I really feel like they made a mistake in putting him down. But I think it was one of those situations where they didn't wait before the case, before all the evidence were presented, and they couldn't double back. I guess professional integrity or whatever you want to call it, they couldn't double back. But that he was worth the double back to me.
I think so. I mean, but it is what it is. I think that he'll have his shot. I think eventually they'll bring King back. You have to let things die over. What's the word is like out of sight, out of mind. So once things kind of like die down, but it just sucks.
It does.
Yeah. It sucks.
So
he was the one bright spot in Ant-Man.
I'm saying, like, even at the end of Ant-Man, Yeah, and Mortis, Rama
Yeah, you know, I want to see what that was gonna look like.
I was
you know?
really looking forward to that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really looking forward to it. I don't know.
And they did even Loki season 2 when they introduced Victor Timely. I want to see what this turns out to be like.
Man. Oh,
the fumbles continue. That's why I'm 50-50. Like I said, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm invested. I'm ready to see a rebirth.
I mean, are you guys after Deadpool and Wolverine? Are you excited to see this next phase? Because I mean, the trailer to the new Captain America with Falcon looks really good.
It was really good. It was really good.
Oh man, yes.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, it's really good. Brave New World looks really good. So I mean, seeing the trailer, seeing this movie, are you guys excited?
I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I'm still 50-50, but that 50 of me being hopeful and excited, it came because Deadpool and Wolverine and the trailer to the new Captain America. I'm like, okay, I'm still locked in. I'm still here, but my time is like at the border. So I want to see where this goes. I'm excited, and also, watching shows like X-Men 97, but we're going to talk about that on our X-Men episode. It has me, my faith is still here. You know what I mean? I don't know about the fate of my faith in the world, but my faith is here in the MCU. But speaking of the fate of the world, is the world running off a Full Metal Alchemist? We're going to switch gears to, some anime. So, what are your thoughts on this? What's going on?
Well, first of all, I know there's some people out here that's really making homunculus out here. That's it. It's my judgment, bro. I'm doing in a language I shouldn't be saying, bro. But yeah, like
I don't know, man. It's crazy, man. It's the state of the world.
You mean like in a more military aspect?
Both. I think I in my opinion, I think the military aspect is definitely well, I wouldn't even say military, I would say the government aspect of Full Metal. Like if anybody who's watched the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or the other show, or even read the manga, then you would know like the government in there, they're hiding stuff from the public, and I think that this is real. I think that the government is hiding things from us, and how they move, how they present things. I mean, AI is a thing now, so you have to second guess what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you see on social media. Like, it's the news outlets, everything's divided, and they're only going to show you exactly what their side wants you to see. It's tough, man. We're living in a full-blown Full Metal Alchemist episode.
I agree, and I agree because I think everything has a hint of truth to it, whether it be a joke, whether it be a show, whatever script is writing, it's all coming from some truth that's around. So I do believe that I think the world is going off Full Metal Alchemist, but I also think, the world was going off the Jetsons. I think the world was going off. I mean, we can name a slew of shows that was a true, in my opinion, true depiction of the state of our government and the corruption and just this horrible world that we live in. Horrible.
Well, I mean, they are cloning people, so we could call them homunculi.
They was already cloning people.
I don't know, man. Saying Kanye West is a clone.
How far back do you think cloning actually started?
I don't know, because I think technology the technology for it has been out for ages. And I think, honestly, all this technology has been. They say that the technology that we have in our hand is 7 years or 8 years late. So whatever we have in our hands currently is old to whoever has the actual technology. That it's like spoon feeding a baby. They're only giving us a certain amount, because I mean, if we had all the actual tools in front of us, I think that we'd be way more advanced than we are.
Yeah, I think it's
more destructive.
Yeah, it's the controlling mechanism.
Yeah.
How can I control you without you knowing I'm controlling you?
Controlling you, yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
Tinfoil hat.
Do you think control is necessary for a functioning society?
Depends.
Mm-hmm.
Depends. What are we talking about? Are we talking about
Like
a
control,
democracy?
Like control, lying to the public, manipulating them. Typical.
It depends. It depends on. I can't even say it depends. When you have the powers that the ones that are in control, the ones that have the power, it's very tough to play God and be human at the same time.
Yeah,
you can't do it. It's either you're playing God or you're living as a human. There's no in between. And I am under the assumption that the powers that be want their cake and eat it too. You want to be able to play God, but you also want to be able to live in society as a civilian. You cannot do the two. So if I'm going to give you this, because I have that, I can't then in turn go to that and use that because I don't want to use this.
I think that it's multiple. There's very few, but there are a few constants in life, and I think this is kind of where these shows like the Full Metal Alchemist or
Westworld,
the other show fall kind of in this spectrum of the constants, which is death, change, life, and in my opinion, time and the lack of control. Because even the reason why people try to control things so much is because of the lack of the control they have of all these things happening. They're trying to get control. So I think because they're trying to get control, then greed stimples in and this stimples in and power hungry and all this stuff stimples in. I think all that stuff trickles in. But the constants are the constants: lack of control, time, death, life, change. Can't change them. That's the thing. You cannot change the constants. And I think that's where these shows come in, and they kind of they're on the edge, on the brink of showcasing both of those point of views.
Kind of like how One Piece is.
Kind of like One Piece is
coming out with the of liberation.
So speaking of One Piece, what are some working theories of One Piece? Let's get into it, because this is like I have not been as versed and immersed in One Piece as everyone I know. It seems like every single person I know they're just locked in. So I had to get tapped into this. And what I found is fascinating is all of the theories of One Piece. And I study behaviors. People know this about me. So the theory that I personally loved was when they were saying that I think it was 3 versions. People thought it was 3 versions of what is this guy's name? Like Captain, not Captain. Got to come back to me.
So my teach Blackbeard?
Blackbeard. There you go. It's how they felt like it was 3 versions of him, and they went into like how, and it was so fascinating. And I agree. After like researching and watching, it was definitely 3 versions of him. Definitely had split personality going on here, because one version of him, it was one way, and then he made this decision that was completely opposite. It was I found myself like legit like this to the screen. Like I was like, oh my God. Okay. But that was the theory that I liked the most. It was so many. But get into it. Let's get into it and come back to me, because I'm still like excited.
You want to start, Rob, or you want me to go?
No, you got it, bro. I'm still stuck on that one. She got me with that one, bro. I got to think hard now, bro.
There's a ton of theories on Blackbeard where they're saying that he's one of the original Buccaneers, or he could be Rock's son. There's a whole bunch of theories.
Imagine who's Rock's son. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. But they were saying Buggy might be Rock's son as well. I mean, there's a whole bunch of I could go down a whole rabbit hole of different theories that are out there. But if we're specifically speaking on One Piece, I don't think it's a treasure. I think they're gonna get there. I think they're gonna open it up and they're gonna be like, "Oh, the treasure is always you. You're the treasure." Yeah, you know. It's tough. It's tough. When you go down the black hole of One Piece, that whole iceberg is one for the ages. There's just so many different theories.
The world, literally a whole nother world with One Piece. Like I felt like of all the anime and manga, everything when I went into One Piece, I felt like I was legit, like you said, going down a whole rabbit hole. We were like, it was just crazy. Fascinated.
The beauty of One Piece is, especially with the devil fruits, is the fact that once someone dies, that the devil fruit it chooses its next user. So, like for instance, the Nomi no Mi, the Gomi Nomi no Mi, Luffy's devil fruit. If you are an avid watcher of the show or avid reader of the manga, you would see that Oda put in all of those little tidbits to show you that Gear 5 was coming. So if you read into that theory, there's going to be a Gear 6, and Gear 6 is going to be Gear 5 with Shanks like hockey. There's another level of hockey that only Shanks, Roger, maybe Garp. We haven't confirmed on Garp, but definitely Roger and Joy Boy have gotten to. Roger wasn't a devil fruit user, he uses hockey. Shanks, not a devil fruit user, uses hockey. Joy Boy has one of the strongest hockeys that we know of currently. I mean, he had a hockey so strong that it sent Gorosei back to Mary Joie. So I mean, there's if we're going off of everything that we've learned so far, Luffy is technically the reincarnation of Joy Boy, and I believe that the reincarnation is something that's underlined. It's an undertone in One Piece, and if you look at everything that's come, every single one of Luffy's members is a reincarnation of somebody. Zoro's a reincarnation of his great-grandfather. Sanji, we haven't really confirmed or anything where his reincarnation will come from, but in my opinion, I believe that Chopper is a reincarnation of the doctor that was before the one that actually taught him all of his medicine. The most famous doctor, the one that wrote all the books and stuff like that. I think that Robin would be the reincarnation of what's the hero that searched and he found Skypiea? I forget his name. You know what I'm talking about. He ended up dying because they didn't believe that he found the island, and the island it became Skypiea. It was an island full of gold. I forget his name. But he was an archaeologist too. World traveler. But I think Robin is a reincarnation of him. And there is a One Piece theory that Robin is actually Luffy's sister. But I could go down that rabbit hole later. Yeah. And matter of fact, that theory actually makes a lot of sense.
All right, we all is.
They're saying that okay, so we know that Dragon is Luffy's dad. Mm-hmm. Dragon hasn't been in Luffy's life in forever. Robin is older than Luffy. Saying that while Dragon was traveling, Dragon got with Robin's mom because she was a part of the resistance. And he has ties to her island through that one professor and through what's his name at Egghead. So yeah. So that's what they're saying. But I don't get into that notion. I think that Luffy is he's the only child. Yeah, he's the only child.
Facts.
Yeah, but there's so many different theories. But if we're talking about specifically what is the One Piece, I mean,
So what is the One Piece?
What is?
It's tough. It's tough to because I think Oda changes things as he goes.
Yeah, I definitely can't answer that question. What is the One Piece? I'm still,
I don't think Oda knows what the One Piece is.
I'm still sitting here getting brought up to date, and I can't answer that. But it is fascinating. The twists and turns and the theories. The theories. Some of these theories are out of this world. I'm locked in now. I am now officially locked in to the One Piece.
See you, Wano.
See you in Whole Cake. Matter of fact, Rob, I will see you in Elbath.
I'll be there soon.
You'll be there soon.
So you gonna tell us your theory? Like, what's up? What's up?
Yeah, like what's the theory? Or you still stuck on you saying that Blackbeard is like 3 people?
That's still busting my brain right now. But
I think it is. Okay, so people are still trying to figure out how he got 2 devil's fruit, but he's slated to get a 3rd one. Okay. And then
I think it's because of his devil fruit, though.
Do you think it was the devil fruit?
I think so. I think so because because currently he's traveling around trying to take other people's devil fruits. I think his devil fruit is the black hole.
He betrayed them just to get the devil fruit, which is kind of out of his character. So they would say
no, it's fully in his character. No, Devil Teach is probably one of the most he's one of the most smartest characters in One Piece, and then 2, he's also one of the shadiest. He's the one that gave Shanks the scar on his eye. He's the one that went against Whitebeard and took the and went against the rules that Whitebeard set and disillusioned himself aside from the family and took the fruit that he currently has. Then he ended up killing Whitebeard for Whitebeard's fruit because Whitebeard, I think, would have survived or damn near been on life support after the events of Marineford. And I think right now he's traveling around stealing devil fruits because his devil fruit power allows him to extract it from you. If you think about the strongest devil fruits, there's something about them that they can either negate or thwart other devil fruits. For instance, Akaino's devil fruit was stronger than Ace's. That's why Ace died. Magma trumps fire. Then you look at Luffy. Luffy's devil fruit, I mean, it's the human fruit in English.
They also
it's literally he's literally a god.
That he sensed that there were that he had met multiple people too. That's another reason why they were saying that. Luffy.
Well, no, okay. So with Luffy, his devil fruit, like I said, his devil fruit chose him. And if you go off of One Piece's lore, that all devil fruits choose their user, Luffy was always destined to become Nika, always. And in that thinking, Luffy's job was the same as Joy Boy's, to liberate the world, to be totally free. So if we're going off of that working theory, then Luffy cannot die.
So Rob,
Luffy didn't die in Wano.
I think Luffy's gonna eventually die, but I think Law's awakening because when he can
yes,
but he has to die in order to do it.
Yes,
I think he's gonna end up doing that to Luffy, making Luffy fully immortal.
Ooh.
That's a good theory.
Ooh.
That's a good theory. Because we don't know if Law's alive or not.
Good.
Facts.
That's a good theory.
Ooh.
My boy was.
But I say he can't die only because he should have died in Wano. He should have died. He should have died during Marineford.
He's the main character, bro. main character plot, bro.
Main character energy. Why can't they're making games out of a lot of these shows and making movies out of a lot of these games. So why is it that some of them are not good? I mean, some people would argue that Resident Evil was like they spawned out some of the best movies, and some would say they were trash. Then you have Borderlands. Isn't there a Borderland movie coming out?
They already came out.
Did they really?
There we go. It already
Well, we're gonna go watch it.
Watch it. So,
Yeah.
why are they missing the mark here? Because I mean, there are so many good, I'm like, oh, that would make a dope movie, or that would make a fire TV show, and then I see it and it's like missing the mark. What's going on?
For me personally, I believe they just want to stay away from the source material, like we were just talking about with Deadpool and Wolverine earlier. They don't want to go exactly with the lore, which I don't understand why. Why not?
Yeah.
Because Arcane.
Yeah.
On Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It was a League of Legends game.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. Amazing.
Yeah.
And then you have bad movie games like Street Fighter. We don't talk about that movie.
No, we really. It was best games of all time. One of the best games of all time. Worst movie of all time. Yes.
Easily. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You have the source material. Resident Evil, you can literally live action it and go literally off the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Beat.
Copy the cutscenes, bro. That's it.
They've already done it with The Last of Us. The Last of Us, I feel like, laid a blueprint on how to effectively do a good rendition live action of a video game. Literally beat for beat,
scene for
cutscene. Like it's literally, it's turning it into live action, and it's one of the best live action shows from a video game ever. Like there's Halo, they dropped the ball. Halo, oh my gosh, they dropped the ball on Halo.
Ouch. All right, look, I'm a little iffy there too, bro. I kind of enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
A lot of people have enjoyed it. I didn't.
I enjoyed it. I feel like they could have done Reach better when they got to Reach and did flesh out the whole storyline from there. And with the Orbiter, I feel like they did my boy dirty. You know what I mean? He had a lot more fleshed out storyline.
Dirty.
They did my boy filthy, bro. Yeah. I didn't like that at all. Even like movies like Mortal Kombat. I hated it, by the way. It was horrible.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
I introduced a brand new character to the screen that has nothing to do with the lore.
His ability is literally plot armor.
Yeah,
literally.
Well, I mean, I liked aspects of it because a Scorpion has always been my favorite. And if you're going to do
fire. Yeah.
All right. So have we seen the Scorpion anime that they dropped? The Mortal Kombat. Okay. So if you go off of that anime, oh my gosh. Because first of all, the dude that plays Scorpion is a fantastic actor.
He always plays Scorpion.
Always. He slays every role he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And if you go off of that and make a full-on Scorpion movie and have Scorpion as your lead,
it would be
this movie. Yeah. I just don't understand because the only parts about that movie I liked was when he was in it.
That's the only best part, bro. Those are only the best parts, bro.
At all, bro.
Movies are taking like too much of a creative license. That's what it sounds like. Like you're deviating too much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind if you deviate. That's the thing. Like people want exact source material, and I don't mind if you deviate. I mind if you deviate so far from the source material that it's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
As somebody that's an avid video game player that plays Resident Evil, you can't bring in Alice and tell me that Alice is going to meet Jill and all these other characters, and these characters have nothing to do with the story other than Alice. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Now, if Alice was introduced and she becomes a full-on character, or like she was like you do a Resident Evil 0 type movie and you introduce her as like Bravo team and then she integrates that way, like okay, that's more believable. But you can't take a beloved franchise and then go completely left with it, introduce brand new characters that have nothing to do with the lore, and then try to integrate other people's lore with this person's lore.
It just got to be good, at least. If you're gonna do that, it just
that's
gotta be
cool.
good.
That's cool.
Good.
Like if you look at The Boys, it deviated from the source a lot. But it's an amazing
really
show.
good.
Yes, it's an amazing show. You know what I mean? I think that's like sometimes it's okay. Only if it really depends on the writing. Mostly.
It does, but depend on the writing. Because Umbrella Academy is in that same boat. I think Umbrella Academy they deviated a lot from the comics too.
But I enjoyed that show.
Yeah, they made it their own, and they still stayed somewhat true to the foundation. I don't care if you deviate. I just still want there to be a foundation, a precedent, and then on top of that, I want the story to be good. Like you cannot make
a difference with the story if the writer is a fan of it versus a writer that has knowledge of it.
No, you have to be a fan. Look at Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah, he's
super fan of Deadpool.
He knocked it out the park.
Every Deadpool movie has been better than the last one.
But then again, look at The Rock.
I don't think The Rock was a huge fan of Black Adam. I think
he's been trying for like at least 10 years trying to get a Black Adam off the ground, bro.
That is true. He did say that. He did say that he was trying for 10 years. He did say that.
All right, you try for 10 years and then your movie flopped.
He wanted to change the center.
But the thing is, The Rock didn't do what Ryan Reynolds did. Ryan Reynolds, huge fan, he also was trying to get Deadpool off the ground for years with Fox, and he surrounded himself with like-minded people. He surrounded himself with writers who love the source material. He even went as far as went to different writers of Deadpool, Frank Miller and Stan Lee's and all of these guys. He went to them personally and asked for help on storyboard and writing. The Rock just I read this one comic. I really liked it. Let's throw it on screen. Like you can't
The Rock rocks everything. It doesn't matter what he's playing Dwayne Johnson every single time. It doesn't matter what it is.
That is true.
And Black Adam is a very complex character.
It is
very complex
because I really do like Dwayne The Rock as an actor. I do. He's been in a lot of movies. I just like him.
He's literally The Rock in everything he plays.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a sad because I genuinely like him. I've been a fan since his wrestling days, and I've just always followed his career. And I just think, he's good. But yeah, the monotony, I do see it. I can't unsee him doing The Rock.
There's only two things The Rock has been in that I feel like he wasn't The Rock in. His show Ballers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that show.
And Moana. He wasn't
drastically different from the other characters that he played where we see The Rock all the time. Like, it's kind of like he's just doing the eyebrow in every movie.
Yeah, literally.
It's
but other than that, every franchise he's been a part of, he's The Rock. You look at Hobbs and Dobbs or whatever it's called.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Fast and Furious. The Rock.
Yo, he's really trying to take over the whole franchise, bro. That's crazy.
I'm telling you,
man. He tried to Devo.
Crazy. Yo, that man is crazy.
I remember that story. Oh my goodness!
I like this. It's mine now.
Well, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, and we've talked a lot about the Deadpool movies. So, let's get this versus in. Who's taking it? If they're not working together, they're versus each other. In the movie, they fought each other a lot. We got that scene. That's what we wanted. So who is winning? Battle World, who's winning? Deadpool or Wolverine? Who got it?
It's tough. I feel like it can go either way. It really depends on who really slips up first,
Right.
Because Deadpool, you really can't kill. You can subdue. You can slow him down, but you can't really fully stop him unless you subdue him,
Same with Wolverine in the aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like Wolverine just has more combat knowledge than Deadpool. Yeah. Wolverine has been alive longer than Deadpool. He's trained in damn near almost every martial arts. He's and
samurai.
Right, he's trained under samurais. He's been in world wars, both of them, World War I and II. He's he's been in the Civil War. It's tough when you have that much combat knowledge. It's very hard to surprise Wolverine. He's damn near seen it all. So
but that's the thing with Deadpool's unpredictability. That's what makes it really.
That's what makes it a little bit, because fighting Deadpool is damn near like fighting Gear 5 Luffy.
Yeah, for real, like you don't know what he's about to do, bro.
Yeah. So it's tough, man.
I'm really trying to see who would take it. I mean, the fan of me wants to say Wolverine, but when you break it down like that,
the fan of me wants to say Deadpool. I'm not gonna lie to you. The fan of me wants to say Deadpool, but I think it's Wolverine, man. In my opinion, I think it would be Wolverine.
I think the athleticism, like you said, he combat wise, he's no match. Wolverine is no match. Technique, he's no match. Experience, he's no match. I also think what he's been through, you know, because he's been alive longer and gone through so much, he's lost more than Deadpool, and that drives and fuels how good he is in combat. Deadpool, however, he's a wild card, and wild cards kind of sometimes they take the game. Wait,
if I'm to play devil's advocate, technically Wolverine is more of the wild card, because if we're going off of current power scaling, Wolverine always has a next level to take it, and that's through Berserk.
We doing 616?
Okay.
616. Okay. You told me about Berserk. Oh, and the heat close. Can't forget about that too.
Yeah. So if we're, and then on top of that, I don't think Deadpool's regeneration is as refined as Wolverine's. Wolverine could literally
it's confirmed better.
Yeah. So Wolverine literally can regenerate from a drop of blood within 5 minutes. So it's tough. It's tough. If we're talking about one person has to leave the island.
I'm voting on Deadpool.
Sorry, Deadpool.
Yeah. Like we're all stuck on the island. Goodbye, Deadpool. Bye.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like it's tough. But I think Deadpool's unpredictability would Wolverine would have to, because Wolverine hasn't seen that. Because again, if we're going off a current power scaling, if we're going off a 616, Deadpool can literally change a panel.
Yeah.
He can literally rewrite a panel, or go into the writer's room and make them rewrite the panel. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's tough, man. It's a good battle.
I you know what? I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna go Wolverine. I'm gonna stick beside him. I'm gonna stick with
Deadpool. Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm gonna stick.
Deadpool on this one.
Who you got?
Just high difficulty.
You got the final vote to see who wins this.
It ain't an easy fight, but I'm gonna go Deadpool.
I'm gonna go Wolverine. I'm gonna go.
Okay. So
not easy.
Like I said, the fan of me.
Like, what is it?
The fan of me.
Drum roll.
Current power scaling, 616, Battle World, only one could leave. I would have to go with Deadpool. And the reason why I say I could go with Deadpool, because Deadpool could change the panel. He could literally change the page before Wolverine ever has a head start. He could literally just leave.
Okay, Deadpool wins the versus. I'm still sticking beside Wolverine. I'm gonna stick beside him. Okay.
We'll be my guy, though. We'll be my guy, man. James Holland, that's my guy. But Wade Wilson, man.
Yeah, why call him James? Why call him James? He don't even like being called James.
Logan.
Logan.
Wow. I mean, this has been an awesome time, guys. We have successfully gotten through our first episode. Woo! Well, everyone, we hope you guys continue to tune in. That is our time. Until next week, fellow Nerdians.
Later, guys.
And binge some anime. Woo! Peace.
Ew, you're a nerd. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Whatever. Nerd.